Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
I didn't adjust the camera correctly on all of the slides. 1 second. I am so sorry.
Oh,
Um,
good. No worries.
Hello. Welcome to Game Over Vancouver. My name is Kaja Antic. I'm here with Mark Sianquita, and we're here to talk about the Canucks game that just occurred. The Canucks lost 4-3 in overtime to the Carolina Hurricanes. Um, were the Canucks in it for a full 60 minutes? What kept them in the game? What happened at Rogers Arena just now? Well, we're here to talk about it. But before we do that, um, check out the flagship show of Game Over Network on the Game Over Network YouTube channel, Hyperdrive Hockey. All things hockey across various leagues in multiple countries. Whatever it is and wherever it is, Max, Daphne, and Kev have you covered for all your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts on the Hyperdrive Hockey page at thegameovernetwork.com. All right, so the Canucks, they played just over 65 minutes. The goal happened around just before the 1 minute mark in overtime. So let's round it out. 61 minutes. Did it feel like they played more like 20?
I felt like they played more like 10.
Oh.
Honestly, I think Carolina plays a game that's too fast for the Canucks, which is weird because the Canucks kind of skate well, and they're known for that. It's just Carolina was faster, and it was a sloppy game um until the second goal, and then in typical Canucks fashion, we catch up again and score a third. But also in Canucks fashion, we lose in overtime. So we got the points, thankfully, but it didn't feel like a good point.
Yeah, it kind of just felt like they fought off Carolina that much to eventually tie it up late in the game, but then didn't really do anything with it in overtime. Like, if you look at the overtime goal, both Hughes and Miller are in front of. Oh, who scored the overtime goal? Of course, it was Sebastian Aho. They're in front of Aho. Like, Aho is just in front of Lankinen directly, and that's where he scores from. They just kind of let it go. And I understand it's 3-on-3. You can't exactly completely defend a guy, but also, like, take your man. Like, I've personally never played hockey on ice, and especially not in the NHL. I mean, look at me. I can't see without my glasses, or also because I'm a ref. Anyway, I'm dressed
It's
up as
probably
this.
because it's probably because you're a ref, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm dressed as the scariest thing to NHL fans, or just sports fans in general. Um, yeah, the Canucks didn't show up for most of that game. They showed up near the beginning. They get a goal. They get another goal. That goal gets called back. And then they just kind of float for the entire second period. They do nothing. And then they come back later in the third, but at the same time, you can't pick and choose when you're going to play the sport you're paid millions to play. You
I
gotta go
agree.
all in. Like, it was actually ridiculous at times.
Yeah, I think the Canucks, as soon as they get like somewhat of a margin of a lead, they just trap and then play back. I do see glimpses of like the Canucks style of play when they play with Demko, where they're pushing up. But they only really did that in the third period.
Yeah, they. Is it like. Do you think it's not having confidence in Lankinen, or is it. Like, are they still getting used to this season 8 games in, or.
I don't think it's a confidence thing in Langdon, at least this game. You could say that for the last, I'd say 3 games when they were still trying to get used to Langdon's game. But I think today they were giving him more chances to show off, which it did expose him a lot I will say like a lot of his quote unquote good saves were very much him being out of position and then being able to react fast enough to get to where he has to be. That's not to discredit all of the amazing saves that he did just do. That he did do tonight. I think he flashed a lot there at least twice. And which, especially knowing how much the Canucks play off of momentum, it's a good thing. But you can't rely on stuff like that to get you going. Uh, yeah, I think if anything, I said this actually in the last game over for the last game. But normally you look at the leadership, right? Like you look at Quinn Hughes and JT Miller to really drive that energy going. But I don't think Quinn Hughes was very good defensively. Sure, he scored. He was playing really well on the offensive end, but he looked like a ghost of himself on the defensive end. Do you think?
Yeah, it's still I think that's like my main gripe too with like the Hronek Hughes pairing because they're both somewhat more offensively minded. Whereas like if you have somebody that like a one D man that's more offensive and one D man that's more defensive, I feel like because what they complement each other, it balances out. Whereas with Hughes and Hronek, it's like okay, they're both up, then who's defending? Like, why is Jake DeBrusk all the way back there? He has no business being there. He's lost, and like, because Quinn Hughes is off on a side quest. Like, I don't get it. I understand where you're coming from with Hughes. Like, yeah, he scored, and he's starting to get back a bit to Norris winning Quinn Hughes that we saw last year. Um, but I mean, hey, maybe he's going for more of the Norris record of, oh, you have 100 points. Here's the defensive award. Like it's anyway, it's a little ridiculous. What did you think of Elias Pettersson's game tonight? He had some good chances. He didn't manage to get the puck in the net, but
Honestly, pairing him with like for the first two periods, it was Hoglander and Garland, and then in the third it was Baines and Garland. I think putting him with gritty forwards is helping because of the fact that he's able to look and get chances, and he's confident that like if he makes a shot and the other team gets the puck right away, he's at like the other two forwards are at least able to forward check hard. So I think PD's game was good. Sure, he didn't show up on the stat sheet, but not many other people did.
true. I was actually going to suggest as a joke, um, for Halloween twist to, um, not appear on camera for the first like 30 seconds and then say you're Elias Pettersson when you finally show up. Um,
I think that's just the Canucks overall, no?
yeah, yeah, no, I feel like that 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 tracks,
Yeah.
obviously. And we have an interesting discussion ahead with Kevin Lankinen, his fifth straight start for the Canucks. I mean, he's had a bit of a hot streak. Definitely performed better between the pipes than Artur Shilovs did. Also, Artur Shilovs is less experienced than Kevin Lankinen when it comes to the NHL games. Or Shilovs had a couple games prior to the playoff run last year where he was shoved into a spot, starter spot. And he had some really big saves, but a lot of the time it was because he was somewhat out of position in some way or another. Um, Thoughts on Lankinen? Hello?
I mean, I did say this about like him being out of position in order to make his good saves. I think how do I say this? I think he does a lot better at point shots compared to Silas for sure. Where he's able to make the point blank saves. I think his reaction time is great, but I don't like that he's relying on his reaction time based on him being out of position.
Yeah,
But
I
I do like sorry if I'm cutting you off, but I do like the confidence that the team is giving him.
yeah, definitely. I feel like that's a big part of it, like having that, what's the term? Like ride the hot hand or whatever it is. I feel like
Mhm.
I'm saying that wrong, but I feel like that was because I remember that worked out.
You said that right.
Okay, I words don't make sense to me.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, I think having Lankinen continue that spot, but I feel like it's been a running joke. He gets out of the net too much. You kind of need a bungee cord to remind him where the net is. I think you said this in the Discord server um the other night for the Pittsburgh game. It's like he leaves his net too much and like it stresses me out. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's like especially if you're a goalie that you don't have a lot of experience playing in this one specific area, you don't exactly know how the boards are going to bounce off every which way. Like, I understand you can get acquainted very quickly. At the same time, please stay where you need to be, and then maybe you don't need to make all these wild acrobatic saves. And some of them, they were really good saves, but I feel like 50% of the time when a goaltender makes really good saves, it's because they're out of position in some which way. You can look to like other amazing goalies. Like you can look to Shesterkin, you can look to Vasilevsky, like goalies like that. They're doing the same thing. I know. I watch a lot of Rangers games. He's doing the same thing. Or like Jonathan Quick had an amazing night the other night. He was doing the same things. Like it's yeah, I mean, I could see Lankinen staying as the backup and Shilov's getting I almost said put down. Like, oh my god. That's
Please
bad.
no.
No. Um yeah, buddy, we're just going to go to the vet. Where's Shilov's? Oh, he's at a farm. He's at a farm.
He's
Technically,
having a great time.
I mean
He's on the potato farms in Latvia.
technically he'd be on a farm because he's in Abbotsford. And Abbotsford's just a giant farm. Because they destroyed a lake. Anyway, um, history, folks. Um, yeah, I think Lycan stays on the backup when Demko comes back from the war. But again, who knows what
I
that'll
mean,
be.
I do. Yeah, I do feel like that's the case because at least like in all seriousness, Sea Loves is also waiver exempt,
Mm-hmm.
so he is still at least able to go down and then come up whenever he can. Um, but yeah, I think we still ride the hot hand. I don't put the blame. I don't put the blame of the loss on Lanknet at all. But I do think he's. I think as Canucks fans, we were looking at him with like rose tinted glasses for the first four games. That like now we're starting to see his quirks. But honestly, those are quirks I can live with. Like Luongo was famously out of position all the time, but at the end of the day, he made good saves.
At the end of
And
the day,
if
he's a Hall of Famer.
at the end of the day, he's a Hall of Famer and a Stanley Cup winner, technically.
Yes, technically, by technical, he
Yeah,
has a ring. It counts. Um, in my heart, he got to lift the cup, and I was happy.
he
So.
did. I actually felt so good when uh it made me feel really good when he lifted the cup. Like you could feel all of the stress of him like as a goalie like gone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I was at
good
work.
time.
I cried a little. But because
Nice.
he's my favorite.
Fair.
Anyway, yeah, famously out of position. I mean, he was so out of position one time he was in the bathroom. Like it all. Sorry. It all depends on like yeah. I think Lankinen he's done a good job. I think Sheila should also get a start somewhere in the California road trip again because it's California. It's not like those like San Jose got their first win tonight because Utah blew a lead.
Yeah,
So
4-1, right?
yeah,
Gross.
Utah got to experience the first 4-1. It was 4-1 scenario.
Mm.
Apparently people were throwing stuff from the upper bowl of the Delta Center and I'm like you're not
So
even a
that
month into this.
so that's where the 2021 Canucks fans went.
I still remember December 4th, 2021 all too well. Um, I will tell that story one day. Probably, I've probably told the story before on Game Over, but I will tell it again because lore. Also, before we end off this first little recap of the game, um, do want to shout out, it was Diwali night,
Mm.
at the Canucks game tonight. Lot of South Asian celebration going on as well. Surrey boy Archdeep Baines almost scored, and then they showed his parents, and then Rod Brindamore called a timeout in order to call the goal back, and I'm so mad.
I'm yeah, man. I'm just like, how give him the spotlight, please, because like the way that he works hard needs to be needs I was gonna say needs to be deserved, but like needs to be appreciated. Plus, they showed his parents on the screen this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's sweet. It's also like it's about like an hour drive, so I'm like, it's like I hope they got cheaper parking than what's around Rogers Arena, but
Okay.
yeah, unless they know my hacks, but yeah, I was like, please don't get called back, please don't get called back, and then it got called back because Sprong was offside.
Mhm.
Um, but like I don't know if it was Kale McCarr, it would have counted anyway.
Which I mean, like at the end of the day, it's fair. It was offside, but like, why can they? Why do refs pick and choose when they're blind? I don't understand.
I don't know. Maybe somebody didn't lose a contact today. Who
Mm.
knows? But yeah. Anyway, Rod Brindamore, you better not go down to Scott Road tonight, like just for your safety.
In
Because
general, actually, don't go to Scott Road. I live there.
now we'll
Hey,
find you.
man.
No, I mean you might want to go try the Krispy Kreme. It's just donut. They're very good donuts. It's
They
just
are very
donuts,
good
man.
donuts.
They're pretty good donuts. Uh, all right. Segment two. Before we get into talking about a little bit about a new defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks. Just wanted to remind you that Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page, and we're also working on a page through LaRouche, a crowdfunding program for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000, and if we hit that goal, we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. If you have any ideas for what you'd like to see as giveaways for these crowdfunding efforts, let us know in the comments on Twitter, Instagram, or on our Discord server. All right, let me fix the camera again because I am a genius. What did I do? I clicked on the wrong thing. Shocker. Okay, cool. Um, Now, Eric Brandstrom has sneakily become a very good part of, I would say, a decently good part compared to Vancouver Canucks defensemen we've had in recent years, or just in the past in general. Um, was he drafted in 2016? Because I really want to make a joke about that.
Let me double check.
He looks young, so like I'm assuming it's probably.
2017.
Oh,
Wait, what was the joke though? I still want to hear it.
oh, I was gonna say it's probably the better defenseman we took out of the 2016 class. Um,
Probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2016 draft. I will never forget you in a bad way. Um, but yeah, Eric Brandstrom, I feel like he's the defense version of Hoglander, but in a way that Hoglander does more defense, but Brandstrom does more offense, but it balances out in some sort of chaos. I,
Mm.
that's just how I can describe it.
Oh, that's actually a good comparison. I his honestly, Branscombe's offensive game is like it's really good. Like I watched the first Abbey game that he played, and it was really obvious that he did not belong there and that he belonged in the NHL. Like he honestly, the way that I would explain it is that Branston plays like he is a power play quarterback on 5v5 and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like he's able to drive the puck up with confidence. He's able to find two-line passes to the forwards and they hit, which considering the passes I see they do, it's night and day.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of like why I'm just kind of I lean towards like the offense defense defensive pairings because like then you get I don't know like the what's the phrase like scary dog protection
Oh yeah, like big dog, small dog?
kind of like
Or
that because like or it was like scary dog privilege or something when you have like something out to protect you
ah
and it's like the sort of thing if it's like you're a woman, for example, walking like a German Shepherd or something.
mhm.
It's kind of like that. But instead of the woman, it's Eric Brandstrom, and instead of the German Shepherd, it's Vinny Teharnay. Like that, those kind of pairings I really like. Um,
Like Quinn Hughes and Chris Tanev, right?
Quinn Hughes and Christina Quinn Hughes and Luke Shen. I don't know what kind of dog Philip Hronek is. I feel like he's one of those little white dogs that has the crusty eyes,
Mm.
but that's just me.
And the parents swear that they're cute.
No, he's a Yorkie. Actually, no, that might be Brandstrom. How do we get to dogs? Anyway,
No, he's a Chihuahua, all bark and no bite.
it's Jeez.
anyways, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in Twins.
That's
Mm,
my brain immediately went to a very different movie with Arnold and Danny, and it's yeah, I don't want to describe it. It's um
I will say though, like if we're talking about the top four right now, right? You have Quinn Hughes and Hronik, who are both offensive-minded defensemen. But then you have Carson Soucy and Tyler Myers, who are both honestly defensive defensemen.
mhm. Which I
But
mean, I'm not
oh,
like
sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm not campaigning to split those pairings up because I don't think that there's someone to match Quinn Hughes, like skill level wise, like, on the right side. Um, without Philip Hronek, like I understand there could be one in the pipeline. We don't know. They haven't experimented with it. Do I think they will? No, because they gave Hronek a pile of money. At the same time, I really like the Susie Myers pairing, but
Mm,
that's just me.
fair. Like I do like it when we're defending. I just feel like because of the fact that they're both big guys, if they don't, I'm not saying that they necessarily get beats. Like they're able to hold their line nice, but puck handling in the offensive zone leaves a lot to be desired with them too. But at the same time, most of the time, as soon as the puck is in the offensive zone, they switch lines anyways, so it kind of works out.
Yeah, it's kind of like they know where to step in
Mhm.
or step out of the play, essentially. Whereas some defensemen just keep going and don't know when to stop. Quinn Hughes, uh, looking specifically at you. Um, yeah, I can't wait until he pulls that against his brother's next game, and then we lose like 8-1. Anyway, last year was the 6-5 game.
Probably. Right.
Yeah.
I was there actually at that game.
Oh,
The amount of heartbreak we had because of the last minute goal.
I
It's
was
fun.
next door at BC Place for the
Ah,
Christine Sinclair um Team
ah.
Canada like final game.
So you had a good night.
I had a good night, and then I walked into the Boston Pizza that's right next to BC Place. I
Right.
walk in and they have the game on the TV, and we're like in the concourse of BC Place, like the group I was with. We're like in the concourse, and we're just like, oh my gosh, it's 5-5. like what, or it's 5-4. Oh my gosh, it's 5-5. So we rush to the Boston Pizza, and we're sitting there, and like we're waiting to get like a table because it was so super busy, and that's when we saw them score, so we just left. Because it was probably like a 30-minute wait. We're like, yeah, we saw enough. But
Uh,
yeah, I mean, you know what? At least that didn't happen tonight, and we got a point. Please, 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 if we lose to the New Jersey Devils of all teams, please don't let that happen. Like,
I, I just don't want to see a cocky Jack Hughes
mm,
in
I'm
Rogers Arena.
mhm, I'm an oldest sibling. I feel for Quinn Hughes every time that
Me too.
his yeah, like
Yeah.
we understand your pain, bro. Like, please, I'm rooting. I'm not just rooting for the Canucks. I'm rooting for Quinn Hughes to get like the validation in the family group chat, cause you know.
Yeah, you already know that like in the family group chat, and this is just for legal purposes, this is pure speculation. But I already know that it as soon as Jack was drafted, he was like, "Hey, Quinn, when were you drafted?
Oh yeah,
Seventh? What? I was first." Like I already know that's the vibe uh of that relationship. So like
yeah,
I mean, I'm excited for the game. To everyone in the chat, I will be hosting the Game Over as well. So don't forget to stop by and hang out with me after that game. But yeah, man, I like Jack Hughes' game. I just don't like seeing cocky Jack Hughes.
yeah, and uh, I don't know. It'll be an adventure, but
Mm.
I think defensive depth overall we're pretty sound. I think New Jersey's basically being held together on Jacob Markstrom, oddly enough. Like, I don't know, I look at them and like, why are you so high up? Oh, you played like twice the amount of games as everybody else. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, don't they have like 12 games played
Yeah, because they played the games against Buffalo and won both
in
of them.
Europe?
Yeah,
Right.
oh, where were they? Was it Germany?
No, it
It
was
was
Czech.
Prague. It was Prague, right? In Czechia?
Yes, in Czechia.
Yeah. And then
Yes.
they have the Finland games this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
Dallas is there.
nice, nice,
I just saw it on the front page of NHL.com and it was like Finn players. I was like, cool. Anyway,
nice.
why don't you take Lankinen with you? He's Finnish, right? I didn't just
Yes, he is.
okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's Finnish. Um, I mean, hey, he probably has a top spot during the Four Nations face-off. Are
Good
there any
point.
other Finnish
Good.
goalies? Because like, I know
Juicy
Canada.
Saros.
Oh my gosh, how did I forget him? Um, I think because I think Canada's I guess then the only one that has kind of up in the air of they all kind of
Stuart
suck.
Skinner.
Oh, how did we go from like one of the best goaltending groups to like the worst? Is no one teaching their kids how to be a goal anymore? Because like, how do you go from the generation of like we had Marty Brodeur, like Ben Luongo, Price, like loaded, and now we have Stuart Skinner. Like obviously, bro went to the Stanley Cup final. Kudos. At the same time, bro. Anyway, Darcy Kemper won a Stanley Cup final. Like, wait, is he
I'm just
Canadian too?
wait. Sorry, who?
Darcy Kemper, for LA. I think it's gonna be a rough
Yes,
tournament
he
for
is.
Canada. Oh my
Uh,
god. Oh my god.
I will just say because I will say this as someone. So I'm 27. I could be in the of the NHL right now, but when my family finally saved up enough money to put me into a hockey program, I decided that I wanted to be a goalie, and my parents were like, "I think this is too expensive." So if that is how the rest of the country sees goalies, I understand.
Yeah, it is because it's a lot of extra gear too.
It's so much extra gear.
It's so much extra gear. You have different skates. Like there's so much other stuff.
And you have to replace those pads like almost every year too, because you're a growing boy.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. I was
Yeah.
like, why would why would you need to? Oh, okay. I thought it
Yeah.
was like for use, but no. That yeah, I wanted to be a goalie when I was like 7, and then my parents were like, yeah. Oh, Devin Levi at the I don't. He's also like what 12? I don't know. Everyone younger than me is 12 years old. He's probably older than me, and I just
Uh,
I made that up.
I think like here and correct me if I'm wrong. I think Levi and Ukko-Pekka is like aren't they like 50-50 on the split? Sorry, you seem
Um,
excited.
no, they're about 50-50. I know UPL just got his 50th win because they gave
Hmm,
him cupcakes for it.
nice.
So congrats to him. No, Devin Levi is actually just a year older than me. Oh
Ah,
yeah. Anyway, um,
I
yeah.
feel like though I feel like they still give it to Skinner based off of experience,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough tournament regardless. I
yeah,
mean, they gave Connor McDavid the captainship, and now he has one leg, so that's what Edmonton's treating it like.
yeah.
I just saw a video that was like way too fast. Anyway, um, how do we get from Eric Brandstrom to this?
I'm not sure. Honestly, every time it's us two, we just go off tangent.
You know
Also,
what?
every time it's us two, we lose in overtime. So I don't know if we should do this anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm gonna pull a Dustin Bufflin and just go fishing. Um, I can't fish. I did it once and it was awful. But I got a badge for it. Shout out Girl Guides. Anyway, before we get into our next little story time bit, um, after we went to depth and then we went to Four Nations Face Off, which is coming up in February.
Oh yeah, because we talked about Lankinen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Finland, who has the best jerseys for the tournament?
Sweden.
It's just the same old. Okay, I need to get through this. Okay, Game Over has you covered after the game, but in order to get ready to watch the Canucks, you've got to get your game on too. Game on Vancouver is a short form daily news podcast covering everything you need to know about the Vancouver Canucks. Get all your Canucks news in under 10 minutes, Monday through Friday, on the Game Over Vancouver channel, YouTube channel, and in podcast form, which you can find at thegameovernetwork.com/pages/Vancouver. Okay, I already adjusted this one. My computer, OBS, is not having a good time with me tonight, so bear with me all. Alright, segment 3. Now, I brought this up briefly as like what I wanted to talk about in the third period. And Mark here was just like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. So, here's my piece for you for how what? Oh, I'm on the wrong account. Here we go. I was on the Game Over account and was really surprised that I was like, what? I thought I followed Dan Murphy. Okay, anyway, this is what happened when the Carolina Hurricanes were trying to come to Vancouver. Um, so they were in Seattle for their last game, I believe. Um, da, da, da. Yeah, they were in Seattle on Saturday night, which Seattle to Vancouver, that's like a 3 hour drive, 3.5 if you're using a bus, but I mean, they're an NHL team, they probably fly. And because
Rich. Money.
money and the climate. Okay, Dan Murphy starts a thread today at 12:24 p.m. Pacific time. What did the Hurricanes do for a post-game meal Saturday night after their plane broke down and they had to bus from Seattle to Vancouver?
How horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've done it with a bunch of like teenage boys. That sounded
Ew.
weird. That's not. It was for a Whitecaps game, and they're not. They're all. I said they're probably like a year younger than me. With a fan
Fair.
group. With a fan group.
Okay.
I was like.
Okay.
I said that, and I was like, wait. No, I just kind of sat near like where all the adults were. Some of them were younger than
Mm.
me. I just sat near the front and had my headphones on, and I had Bluey on my phone. And that was it. I was out. Um,
Oh,
it's
like
enough.
Bluey the show?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Bluey.
Okay. I was like,
God. And we're getting off tangent again. Anyways.
yes. But yeah. So they Hurricanes for post game meal Saturday night after their plane broke down. They had to bus from Seattle, Vancouver. So Saturday night was probably 3 to 4 hours by bus. Depends on also where they're staying. Because and also like
Oh, it's actually probably longer because they're staying in Vancouver. Because it's like
yeah,
3 hours to Surrey, so it's
mm-hmm,
probably four.
that's probably for
Yeah.
um yeah. Anyway, usually teams eat on the plane, but since that wasn't an option, Brent Burns got on the McDonald's app and placed an order for his teammates. The
That's a lot of
pickups,
points.
oh yeah, the pickup
Yeah.
spot was in Everett.
Huh? Okay.
Everett.
Yeah,
Like
Washington.
yeah, like about an hour
Yeah.
away. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's where the American Girl store used to be. Um,
Ah,
yeah. The pickup spot was in Everett, but when the Hurricanes arrived, the walk-in option to the store was closed. Only the drive-through was open. And obviously they're in a giant bus, presumably a giant coach bus, so they can't go through the drive-through. Because there's height restrictions. But only the drive-through was open. Brent Burns, tries to walk through the drive-through, but was told by the McDonald's employee he needed to be in a car. So, Burns approached a random driver sometime after midnight and asked if he would take him through the drive-through. And then Dan Murphy writes, imagine this dude knocking on your window at that hour and it's just the headshot of Brent Burns, hair messed up, giant beard, teeth missing. Anyway, mission
I'd
accomplished.
be so scared.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah.
isn't like Brent Burns like 6'5", 6'6", no
He's an
teeth,
NHL
full build?
defenseman. They probably thought it was the Sasquatch because it's Washington State.
I'm just okay. First off, hopefully Brent Burns paid for their meal. But secondly, the first thought that comes to my head in terms of him doing it in the drive-through is like, do you know that Tim Robertson video on I Think You Should Leave? Where like he just goes to the drive-through and it's like 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I feel.
Like,
But it was a mobile order too, so like, aren't you? Because I don't mobile order McDonald's. Like that's a spontaneous like 2 a.m. decision. But like, yeah, he got his order after going through the drive-through in some random person's car. Um, yeah, not sure what it was, but 100 cheeseburgers has been rumored. It could be worse. It could be Uncrustables.
uh,
Have you heard?
fair.
Have you heard
Like
about the
like
NFL
the
stuff?
I know about Uncrustables, but I don't know about the NFL stuff.
Oh, there's like teams that go through like 700 of those a week. Yeah. Um, yeah, Burns did not want to confirm anything at all about the number of what they ordered, telling me they only eat lean meats like venison and elk. Um, I tried to get Burns on camera to deliver the definitive details on this, but he basically said, I don't know what you're talking about with a grin on his face. End. How Dan Murphy found this out, I don't know. Is it the best thing I've ever heard? Probably.
Yeah, I'm just like here. Like imagine it's It's 12 a.m. You're with your friends, probably after like a night out because it was Saturday, right?
It was Saturday night
It
in
was
Everett,
Saturday night
Washington.
in Everett, Washington. You guys probably went out for like dinner, and you're like, "Let's stop by McDonald's." And then as you approach the drive-through, you just see like a shadow, and you're in Washington, so Sasquatch, obviously. Like
Mhm.
that's the only logical thought that you'd have. Also, oh, I want to know so much now. Like what
Yeah.
car? Like I want it to be like. Imagine if it was like a Kia Soul. He tries to go back and he's just like in the car and he's like,
No, no, dude, dude. Imagine it's a smart car, like the little, it's like the two-seaters.
or hold on, What's that? Cube car?
The Kia
Uh
Soul,
oh yes. Well, I was also the
Honda
Nissan
Element.
Cube. No, the
There's
Nissan Cube.
okay. There's that one too. I'm just even imagining it like a Volkswagen Bug. It's just the
and then and then also like as soon as they approach what's it called? The
McDonald's.
drive-through window. Yeah, the McDonald's. Like imagine if he's like imagine if all Brent Burns says is, "Hey, I need a car to pick up my order. Can I get in your car?" But he doesn't tell the driver what the order is.
Oh my
So
god.
imagine how many bags, like 100 burgers, and I assume fries as well,
Yeah, and
like
drinks.
and drinks.
It just he's just
Ah,
keep passing it. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Like that meme. That's the entire drive-through. Imagine being stuck behind them. And you're just
oh,
like, how? Because you ever been a drive-through and you're like, what did they order? Why is it taking this long? And like, that was me yesterday getting coffee. Car smells smell like cheeseburgers for a month. I mean, if it was like some college student after a night out, it probably already smelled like cheeseburgers. Like, I'm calling myself out
probably
here. Yeah. Now I need to find out which McDonald's it was.
in Everett. Let's
In
see.
Everett, there's probably like 10. Like, and Everett's not very big.
Everett, Washington. It's probably near the highway too.
Yeah, near the I-5. We'll do some GeoGuessr work. Um, there's a Costco. Cause like I have a feeling, or that's the Wendy's.
Oh, there's one close to like Lake Stickney. That's like just off the highway near Denny's.
Okay.
It's probably this one.
Oh yeah. No, I see. Okay. Anyway, I also like this message in the chat. Brent Burns could just carry a parked car through a drive-through.
If it was a Kia Soul, probably.
It was a Kia Soul. Or there was another old car. I don't know if it was actually sold in North America, but they talked about it on Top Gear, so I know it was real. Where there was these cars that were super light, so if you and a friend were out one night, you could just pick one up and like turn it around. It, it was a bit on Top Gear. I remember because they were talking about going around and unplugging electric cars for fun.
Wait.
once, once again, I don't know how we got here, but okay. J Money said in the thread, "This sounds like a Seth Jarvis idea through and through." Um,
Uh,
somebody said, "So we know what Burns had for himself. What did the rest of the team order?" Um, um,
oh, I found the Reddit thread. Someone said I read this fast, and for a moment, I thought Burns ate 100 cheeseburgers, which I would have almost accepted.
um, this Did they get onions on it though? Oh yeah, they
Okay,
didn't pull an NFL move and have 70K Uncrustables.
okay. It's 100 cheeseburgers. Like that Murphy said, 100 cheeseburgers. An NHL team has 12 forwards, 6 defensemen, 2 goalies, 3 scratch, plus coaching team.
Like, are you
That's
doing math?
that is at least 3 burgers per person.
I... But also, that's the rumor, and I feel like 100, that's like a good round number that you would just kind of like think of when you're like,
Where
like, that sounds like a math question in grade 5. Like, that's the type of number that you're looking for with this. It's probably not anything close. I mean, hopefully they didn't get quarter pounders because apparently there's like listeria or some kind of bacteria on them. Apparently, a Carolina Hurricanes fan brought a sign that says "Burnsy, any leftover cheeseburgers" to the game tonight, which is
nothing.
just amazing. I don't know if he'd pack them with him. If you threw them on the ice, who knows if he would eat them? Maybe try that when New Jersey's here, because Curtis Lazar plays for them. Um, Canucks legend Curtis Lazar, Curtis Lazar. Anyway, um,
Sorry. I just want to say super quick. I went on the Dan Murphy thread. I
mhm.
saw the first tweet. I scrolled down, and the photo that he used of Brent Burns.
It's so bad. It's so
Why would he choose that photo?
because I feel like that encapsulates just the entire vibe of looking out your car window past midnight in a McDonald's
Like,
parking lot in Everett, Washington.
I'm just like, this is Washington. What if like they're going to McDonald's and they have munchies, and then you see,
The hat
okay,
man. This is- I'm gonna put this forward as the Vancouver clip for tonight.
please do.
I'm losing my mind.
No, okay. Honestly, if you do this, and if I just want to say to the rest of the chat that's here, if you see any of the other game overs, it's very serious. And then
It's
there's us.
there's us. I think it encapsulates Vancouver very well.
Hey, you know what?
I looked over at the photo again.
Hey, you know what? You get Gen Zs to take over a channel. This is what happens, and you know what? I'm all for it.
Yeah, also, just another note before we move on to the final period of the show. Why does Brent Burns wear a mouth guard? What did I compare it to? Because I feel like I need to announce this to the world. Um, oh, I just closed Mark. My bad. What did I compare it to now? Now I'm curious. It was something. Oh,
I don't.
I called
Did
it
you
the
compare it to?
Maginot Line.
I mean, here, if I can say, if I can, oh, imagine, oh,
It
oh,
was, yeah,
I
it
just
was,
looked up what the Maginot Line was. Oh,
yeah, it was, I mean, it was
hey,
how
you
France
know,
thought to defend
yeah,
themselves, and it didn't work. It's kind of like,
like those bunkers never worked in war zones, so
I
it
just
doesn't work in real life
I was
either.
just thinking about this one meme that I saw that was like two sides of a garden and there's no fence, just a singular gate, and the gate was labeled a Maginot Line. One side was France, one side was Germany, and that was my thought process when thinking of that. Because like really, what is it defending? You have like 4 teeth total, but like you know what? Protect your gums. I understand. Probably it hurts. Maybe I don't know.
Hey, you know
Um,
what? Like, if you could, if I could say one good thing about Brent Burns, like he is someone that will put the body on the line from the bottom all the way to the top. So, so all
and
respects to him and his game,
you know
but
what? And not just on the ice, even
yeah,
in McDonald's parking lots at 12 a.m. in Washington. Zach just joined the
okay,
chat. I feel so bad. Zach, please tell me you read Dan Murphy's thread about the McDonald's. Anyway, before we get into our last little bit here, I'm gonna talk a little bit about our Game Over merch, but also before that, remember to subscribe down below, like the stream, comment, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, what better way to support something you love, rather than wait, I can't read. What better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has dropped. I'll move that over. Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs, whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design currently on sale, or want to wear your love for the goalies proudly with our Live and Die by the Goalie design, we have you covered. Designed by Brady Chalis from Game Over Winnipeg, use the QR code on stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. Okay. The chat. Yeah, Zach, our other Game Over Vancouver host. Hey guys, missed the game. How did it go?
How did it go? It was a hockey game. Honestly, peak Canucks hockey, I will say. Like, it's not a Canucks game if we don't play sloppy in the first, have some hope in the third, in the second, and then catch up in the third. Everything else after that didn't actually exist. But
How many?
Yeah.
Out of 100, how many cheeseburgers would you rate tonight's Canucks performance?
I'm craving cheeseburgers now, man.
Sorry.
I'm this close to, like, as soon as the stream ends, I'm gonna go to the Fleetwood McDonald's.
Oh no, don't go there. It sucks.
Okay, I went to school there. I know it sucks. That's the ambiance of it.
True. There's nothing like 2 a.m. in the kids section, kids area, sitting with your friend. Yeah, debriefs in there. Well, I remember one time I had a friend who picked up a wet floor sign, threw it, and the federal MP was sitting across from us. Anyway, McDonald's is next spot. I don't know. We kind of talked a lot about them tonight, but that's just, we blame Brent Burns for that. We'll have a referee on the podcast. Whoever threw this at a Value Village, because that's how I got it, and yep. Half his body in reference to Brent Burns is his beard. Yeah.
Makes sense.
That guy must have recognized Burns, because no way would anyone let that man near them at 12 a.m. otherwise.
Honestly, it's Washington. You know, like, if they see Sasquatch in real life, knowing them, half the time they are going to run away. Other half will be like, "Ooh,
hey,
is that Sasquatch?"
There's a whole iCarly episode about finding Bigfoot.
Great episode. Great episode.
Very good episode. It's a very good episode. Brent Burns is Bigfoot. He didn't have a childhood. He was born as that one walking figure in that video from 1965. There's a Sasquatch right behind me. Hi, Brent. How are you? Just kidding. That's Quachi from the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics.
Quachi was the MVP.
Rate the 2010 Olympic mascots.
Oh, hold on. I need to look at them again.
It was Quachi, Miga, Muck,
Mm.
and Sumi?
Yes. Good job. Nice. Okay.
I peaked
So
in 2010.
I nice. I'm trying to think. Okay, the nostalgia in me ranks. It's Muk Muk, Quachi, Sumi, Mika.
Really?
Yeah, just cause I like I was a small kid and just I had representation for once. You know, I didn't.
Representation's a beaver. You know
Like,
what? You love Pom Pom on Bluey. Then
yep.
yeah, yeah, my representation is Jack. If you can't
Ah,
tell, ADHD. I wonder if you can tell, considering how many different things have we talked about tonight. I feel like the thing we've stayed the most constant with the entire show was the McDonald's store with Brent Burns.
because it was funny,
And it's
and they gave us
funny.
dopamine.
It gave us
Like
dopamine after whatever.
The Canucks game tonight did not give us dopamine at all, except
The
for the third period.
the
But that
Canucks
disappeared.
the Canucks the Canucks game tonight made me want to call my doctor to up my SSRIs. Let's be
Oh, oh,
that no that's
Lexapro.
no Zoloft used to
I
be
would have said
Lexapro.
I would have said matching, but okay, close.
I used to be and then they stopped working, so that's kind of bad.
Mm.
Anyway, yeah, I take 3 giant pills every morning. How did we get here?
You sleeping okay? Thought so.
It's my glasses. They ruined
Ah,
my eyebrows. Okay, I think we should probably end the show.
mm.
Okay, serious. We're serious now. Um, thank you for watching Game Over Vancouver. I've been Kaja Antic.
And I'm Mark Sianquita.
This has been Game Over Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks lost 4-3 in overtime to the Carolina Hurricanes. And they play next on Wednesday night against the New Jersey Devils. Mark will be hosting that. It'll be the Hughes Bowl, and hopefully there's less cheeseburgers in that episode.
I
Okay.
appreciate chat by the way for staying through and through all night. Shout out to
Yes.
Casey and Luke Flyswatter,
I
as well as Zach. Just like the Canucks, you came back as soon as we were ending, so I
Luke
appreciate you.
Flyswatter, I appreciate your name so much. That is such a good that's a really funny name. From a certified Star Wars fan. Canucks lose
Ah,
less. Yeah.
that's literally how I reacted to when Carolina won the overtime. I was like, haha,
Yeah, that's
and yeah.
I just kind of it's just kind of a solemn acceptance. I mean, Carolina was the team that beat us when we went 0-7 that one time.
Mm.
So, uh yeah, that I don't think my vocal cords will survive another rendition of what happened that time. Anyway, at least it's not as bad as it was. Thank you guys for putting up um with me. Thank you, Mark, for putting up with me. This was so much fun. Also, the Vancouver Canucks need to sort their stuff out, or else I'm gonna bring up more weird stories I see on the internet.
Have a good
um,
night, guys.
have a great night.